Guess what? Another day, another new lighting setup. Actually, even a new mic setup. So I went ahead and finally got a C-stand. So I have my mic a little bit like hanging from me right here. Look at that. We're moving up in quality productions, guys. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your day to be a part of mine. Today, we're going to be talking about lenses again. Yeah, I know, right? We're finishing up the topic. You know, we started it and then we kind of trailed off and now we're back. We're just going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, go for a circle and do what I said what I was going to do. And now talk about the 7200, which is over there on said shelf. So I should probably grab that. Now, this bad boy, we got some weight to it. So just like me other ones, what the heck am I, a pirate? Just like the other lenses I use, this is the Canon EF Mark II series of the L series glass. So it's still, again, like I said on the other ones, the old model, but it gets the job done. It's cheaper. I'm okay with it because when you first start out, no one wants to break the bank and buy a $3,000 lens. Not saying that that's how much this one costs, but what the new RF mount I think is around that price for the new 7200, which is a beautiful looking piece of glass. But yeah, budget, guys. You got to be concerned about the budget. It's not about buying the latest and the greatest. It's about what you can afford and what's going to work for you, because it's not about your gear. It's about how you use it. Anywho, back to the topic. This lens is a beast. I mean, it has its own tripod mount, of course. I mean, all of them do, just because you need one because of the weight of this bad boy. I mean, it's significant, right? Probably the major con of that, the fact that it is so heavy, so I'll second guess myself if I do want to bring it, because it is some weight. I mean, it's not like, oh my god, heavy. It's not like 20 pounds or anything, but it's still an additional amount that's going to be added to my bag when I could, especially the size of it too, that could be taking up a spot for something else. So there's always a little voice in the back of my head when I'm considering taking this lens with me about, am I actually going to use it? Is it going to come in handy? Is it just going to be taking up space and taking more additional weight that I don't need? So if I'm taking it, I want to know that I'm taking it for a purpose. So the images you're going to get with this are going to be super clean and really crisp. It's a great lens to have, not just because of the great quality of glasses in here, but because of the fact that it does have the image stabilization onto it. You're not going to get much of that shaky cam. If you need to go to those lower apertures, those lower shutters, and you're worried about getting some of that shaky cam going on, it's going to be less likely to happen when you have that bad boy turned on. Now to the real world uses of this lens. I've used this one for product photography just because it does have such a nice depth of field onto it, and I can get really up and close with some products, and it just adds an additional texture and feel and kind of a mood to a product when I'm doing that. So one reason I like it, but also for large events when there's large auditorium, large audiences where I need to get up and close to the speaker. I've used this one at corporate events when there's a public speaker and they're giving their presentation. I've been able to zoom in onto the presenter and then also zoom in onto the crowd of getting reactions of people asking questions. It's able to get those shots. And I 100% recommend this lens if you're a wedding videographer or photographer, because no one likes a photographer or videographer who's just up and close right on the groom when they're having their special moment. It just takes away from the whole mood and the atmosphere of that moment, and no one wants to look back at photos where the guy's just up close. To me, like, if I was having that on my wedding day, I'd be like, yo dude, back up. Having this lens removes the need to be up in the way to where now you can be in the back, out of the way, or off to the side, and you're not interfering with that special moment. I really like using this one either with a second shooter, or if I have my camera, if I can't get a second shooter for that day, on a tripod and just kind of aiming it at the bride and groom, because that's how we can get those natural reactions, like when the bride first walks in and the groom has his first look with her, seeing her coming in the aisle. It's a great moment to capture, and having this lens, being able to zoom all the way in and seeing the details and the emotion in the groom's face when that happens, it's just a great feeling. It's a great shot to always capture, and it's it's my favorite moments of a wedding. I feel like that's everybody's favorite moment. It's kind of a cliche, but it works. You capture a lot with that moment. Those are real world uses of what this lens could be used for. Looking at pros and cons, starting off with the negative, it is significant in weight. So that is one thing you're always gonna have to remember. Also, the fact that this isn't a large lens, you're probably going to need, depending on what type of tripod you're using, an additional tripod head, just because you don't want to be finagling with your camera trying to get off that tripod head to put it onto this mount and then trying to mount it back onto your camera if you're doing something else. So having to switch between that is a little bit of a haggle. You just got to be prepared for that. The other downside to this lens, I mean, it's not really a downside, it's just more of an inconvenience. The thread on my 16 to 35 that of course I'm using right now and my 24 to 70 is at 82 millimeter. So my filters that I have, my variable ND and my neutral density filter, I do need a different size for this one because it is a 72. So that is one thing you're gonna have to consider too. You're gonna need either some step down rings or a new size filter altogether. So yeah, that's a quick summary of the 7200, the beast of a lens that it is. It's a great lens to have, it's a great tool to use, if that's kind of the same thing, but you get what I'm trying to say. That basically sums it up for this video. Thank you again for stopping by. Leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are not already, and hit that bell to be notified when we make new videos. And until next time, my friends, I will see you then. Later.